Bonjour. Comment vas-tu? I think that's about as far as my 2 years of French went at East Providence High School. But I did have a hot French teacher, Mrs. Kaladi. So I probably should have paid attention. But she was hot in like 2000. I don't know if she still is. But anyways, this is the live recap show of UFC Paris or Paris. I am your host. My name is Keith Shillan. Joining me as always is the senior editor of Sherdog.com, the great Ben Duffy. Ben, say something French. I know you oui, bonbons, all that good stuff, as Metsman would say. What do you got? I can't hear you.
Je suis bête. Bonsoir, mes amis.
There you go. He has better French than me, and I married a Canadian. So, all right, we have 13 fights. We're supposed to have 14. One of the fights I was probably most looking forward to got canceled. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to sherdog.com who puts this together. I want to make a warning before we get into this. Anything I say on this recap, can I get a little bit of grace? I worked till 4 o'clock in the morning. I got on call. I was at a softball field at 8:30 in the morning, so I'm on like 3 hours sleep. I was at a soccer field for a long period of time today. I am very loopy, and it's caught up to me. So anything I say, please give me some grace. Give me some mercy. But let's get into it. We had 13 fights. In the main event, it was categorized as a title eliminator, with the winner likely getting a shot at the middleweight champion, Khamzat Chimaev. We had France's own Nassourdine Imavov taking on Fight Nerd's captain. I don't know if he's really the captain, but I view him as a captain, Caio Borralho. Imavov winning by unanimous decision. I knew about 20 seconds into this fight that I had this fight picked wrong.
I mean, the rhythm was set pretty early and nothing changed.
Yeah, Imavov was so much faster, and that was pretty clear. My issue with Imavov, not so much the fourth and fifth round, he kind of picked it up a little bit, and I don't know if he was kind of pacing himself, didn't want to gas out. That's kind of the way I thought Borralho could win, put pressure on him. Even though I picked the loser of this fight, sometimes when you fight, you break down a fight and it goes how you would pick it, you feel a little bit better. No, Borralho did not fight how I wanted him to fight. So all over, really bad pick. But he was to me, he was keeping rounds close. I mean, if you actually look at significant strikes, Borralho actually outstruck him 2 out of 3 rounds. Again, I know significant strikes aren't equal, and that's a terrible stat, but that's concerning to me.
Agreed. I mean, I made the joke on the preview that Imavov just has a dial on the back of his head that, it has Dagestan at one extreme and France at the other, and it's a matter of kind of dialing it to the right place. But here, I agree. On some levels, he dominated this fight, but it didn't feel as dominant as it could have. And it's due to him being a little too deliberate, a little too methodical, maybe not stepping on the gas when he could have. And I understand the reason why you get conservative in a case like that, because in the last 2 rounds in particular, the only way Borralho was getting back into this fight was to land one huge haymaker, or if Imavov gassed out horribly. And he fought in a way to make both of those outcomes as unlikely as possible. But yeah, he continues to need to dial it in and find that happy medium. Like the version of Imavov that fought tonight, I'm not dismissing his chances against anybody in the division.
Oh,
but
wow. Okay. All right. Oh, there's a but. Okay. There's a but. Okay.
But at the same time, there's nobody in the top 10 that I just be like, yeah, stick a fork in that fight. It's done. For a guy that, again, I think won all 5 rounds tonight, didn't close the door as hard as he could have. It's a win, but it's a win that gives him some stuff to take back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm glad that you said he won all 5 rounds, because I had it for 5 rounds too. But if you looked on Twitter, there was a lot of people that had it 3-1. Some people I saw had it 2-2 heading into the last round. And I was like, that's because the way Imavov fight. I don't know if it was I think it was going into maybe the third or fourth round. They went to both corners, and I thought both corners gave the perfect advice. Imavov's corner was saying, like, just go first. He can't counter you. You're too fast for him. Go first. And it was absolutely true. And then Barralho's corner was saying, dude, you need to make this a brawl. You need to make this dirty and slug it out. And I kind of agree. And Barralho, going into the fifth round, and this advice he should have said earlier, was it's not the first and second shot. It's the third, fourth, fifth round. When he was throwing, he actually was having success. He was landing shots, especially when he got into the pocket. But he just simply refused to step on the gas and give himself those 5-6 punch combinations. And then he was fighting off the back foot the whole time. And another thing I didn't like by Barralho, when he wrestled, he didn't give him he didn't go all out for the takedown. Like, he shot in, kind of got stuffed, didn't chain, didn't cut the corner, didn't do anything. Just bailed on him very early. And I'm like, one, bailed on it when I'm talking about when he was coming into the hips, but also bailed on it just overall and bailing, like, I'm not looking for takedowns anymore. I thought that was bad. And then early in the first round, he got to the clinch and he was having success in the clinch. And I'm like, that's the era. You're the bigger guy, you're the stronger guy. Get to the clinch, wear on him, give him the shoulder shrug, give him the foot stomps, have him carry your weight, tire him down. And he did nothing. I thought he had a terrible, terrible fight IQ for, the nerds.
No, I agreed. And it's kind of, I'm sure this is going to come up sooner or later on this show, but it was 2 fights in a row to top off this card where the fighting nerds got beat by a fighter from 2 different camps that came in with a better game plan and either stuck to it better or made better adjustments in between rounds. Like, they flat out got out-prepared and out-coached 2 fights in a row. And again, it was by 2 different opponent camps. So yeah, like, some stuff to take back to the drawing board for what has been the hottest camp in the sport over the last 2 years otherwise. Yeah,
and obviously we'll foreshadow a little bit to the co-main event, but to me, Barralho, especially early in the fight, fought exactly like Ruffy did. And I'm like, didn't you just see your teammate do the same thing and lose? Again, minus his opponent was trying to get takedowns. So guys, just a fair warning, like, everything's going wrong tonight. We have like thunderstorms going on outside. I don't know if you guys can hear because I got a window right in front of me. Bear with me. If we did get my wife got a new modem today, so hopefully my internet will be even better. So, but I think our other one was finally old. I see the chat, and the chat obviously is already going, and as most people go right to who fights next. This is a number 1 contender matchup. I'm watching these guys, and fifth round they kind of really. Kobe Saul, thanks for the shout out. I gave you a shout out, Kobe. I don't know if I did, but hey, Kobe, how you doing, buddy? Maybe I don't know. Explain to me how I gave you a shout out. Unless you're just trying to get one.
Is secretly Ante Dalia.
Oh,
kind of like Porsche is secretly what's his name? Yeah.
There you go. I thought maybe he's trying to get a shout out right now, so that's there you go. I will. So I'm watching the fight, and the fourth and fifth round really picked up. But the first 2 rounds, I'm like, these guys are both fighting not to lose. Like, they have the title shot in hand, and I'm like, that's not the case. This wasn't like announced. This is the title eliminator. There's nobody else who has an argument. There's another matchup going on a month from now between René Derrida and Anthony Hernandez. The winner of that can make a really strong argument for a title shot.
Yeah.
And I feel like, especially Imavov, because Imavov was controlling. I'm like, dude, if Imavov put on, he might have got a stoppage. And I know he talked about some kind of heel injury, and there might be some truth to that. And hold on, I want to say, when someone says something, I'm not saying they're lying, but I mean, like, that could have hampered his. That's what I mean by there might be some truth. That could have hampered his ability to finish the fight. All right, fair enough. But I'm just sitting there, I'm watching it. I'm like, if I am a matchmaker for the UFC, is this the matchup I want to do with Chimaev, a guy who only fights like once a year? Do I want to get one of my like stars to fight Imavov next?
Imavov, like, who on one side they both have some similarities. Like, one's from Dagestan, one's from Chechnya, one relocated to Sweden, one relocated to France. Like, but it doesn't sound like fireworks on the mic or in the cage. Imavov could have made this an easier decision for the UFC tonight, but yeah, we're about to get to matchmaking, and I think here's where Imavov's approach is probably going to cost him.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously popular in France, and this was his moment. If he got a knockout or something, the crowd went crazy. I mean, the crowd went crazy for a decision. When you're in your hometown, you're going to get that, but nowhere else. If this fight was in Brooklyn, New York, like it wouldn't have got that big of a
No.
It wouldn't have got a big cheer for Imavov, let's get a title shot. So if I'm Dana White and
if it was anywhere but France, they would have been booing the shit out of Imavov and cheering every little thing that Borralho did, because generally speaking, the fighting nerds are kind of beloved, and Imavov outside of France is kind of whatever. And I say that as a guy who likes Imavov's game, but yeah.
Sure. No, he's super skilled. But I'm sitting there and if I'm Dana White and I don't know if he was in I had a crazy week this week, but if he was in France and they were asking a question and they asked, right away, like you're going to ask about the fight, about third, fourth question, and they're finally going to ask, all right, so now did Imavov do enough to fight for the title? He's going to give that, we're not even thinking about that. We make our matchmaking on Tuesday line that he's used a million times. But say you actually held him to it. Like he has to answer I'd be like, well, the thing about that division, this is me, I'm playing Dana White. Well, the thing about that division is, I mean, it is so deep. We got so much talent here in the UFC. There's so many guys right now that, has put themselves in line to get a title shot. So, we'll have to sit down and evaluate and see if that's the move we want to make. Yeah, if he's the guy that's ahead of the pack.
Yeah, but we got that kid in the mix that fought 6 weeks ago, and what?
So I'm leaving the door open for I'm not announcing he's fighting for the title next. I want to see what happens with De Ridder and Hernandez. If one of those guys get a stoppage or put on a one side shellacking, I'm doing that fight. Agree or disagree?
I agree. And knowing we were going to be talking about this, I half expected to come in with a dilemma where I was going to say, all right, this is what I would do. This is what I think the UFC is actually going to do. But I think it all kind of comes together here. I think the UFC is going to wait to see what happens between RDR and Fluffy. And as much as that I'm the meritocracy guy, where I'm like, if you've won this many fights in a row, where you have this long and unbeaten streak, you've earned this. Even I am like, no, let's wait and see what happens, because you're a fight promoter. You are in this to make money, and Fluffy has sneaky growing charisma, and with De Ridder, it was instant. Like I had low expectations for Reinier De Ridder in the UFC, and not only has he won all of his fights, but every time he's on the mic, he's pretty solid. Like he's just kind of cocky, likable, speaks perfect English, obviously, because all those Dutch dudes do. Sure. Yeah. I'm waiting and keeping my fingers crossed that one of those guys just does something spectacular.
Yeah, and we talk about the styles these guys fight. I mean, the argument for De Ridder is if he wins and say he beats up Hernandez is, he's just an amazing grappler, but also he has this huge size advantage. He's just this big, massive dude. How could Chimaev go against someone who's actually be physically stronger than them? And then Fluffy, if he wins, he's gonna put on a performance. He's gonna put on a cardio like you've never seen in it. And then we start talking about the Tyron Woodley. I'm serious, Tyron Woodley. The guy who beat Tyron Woodley, Kamaru Usman, the Kamaru Usman fight where Chimaev gassed out. Everyone says, "Oh, Chimaev doesn't have a gas tank," and then you show Anthony Hernandez put on the craziest output you can believe. What's going to happen? This is, you have the hardcore analysis guys saying, "Oh, this is the worst stylistic matchup possible for Chimaev." A guy that's going to be in his face for 25 minutes. I mean, that was also Duplessis we were saying a month ago, but
yeah.
I want to ask a question. So, say he does, say Imavov does, say that fight, De Ridder Hernandez. I can't imagine that fight being a snoozer, but somehow it's a snoozer. So Antoine Willis asks, what's the early betting odds for Chimaev and Imavov? Sherdog.com said Chimaev -180, Imavov 145.
That would be my guess.
Okay, so that's you. I don't want to say that was you, but that was you putting that.
That was me.
I don't think that's big enough. You know me, I'm always saying the line should be closer.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chimaev would be an even bigger favorite than that.
And you might be right. Like
I think he'd be like close to -300.
Which is kind of bananas, because I'm not saying I wouldn't favor Chimaev to win, but I don't feel like any of it's going to come easy. Imavov is going to be a more disciplined and harder to overwhelm striker, and also one of the better defensive wrestlers that Chimaev will have fought in his entire UFC run. At the same time, also not old and over the hill. I mean, I'm talking myself into wanting that fight like in real time here. Like, shit, show me that fight.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the guys. I mean, we saw like he, in my opinion, 50-45. I think at least one. I mean, I remember one of the judges said 50-45. I think the other two went 49-46. But either way, like out of 15 possibly rounds, he won. 14. And I'm saying that like scorecards 3 times. Yeah. It's against one of the top guys. It was good showing. He's had really good showings. And I know he's a better defensive wrestler than Duplessis. Does it matter? Does it matter against Chimaev? I don't know. So let's do it. So I am not giving him the title shot. I am giving it to Fluffy Hernandez, René Dorado winner. Again, assuming that's not an all-time snoozer, which those two guys, the way they, I can almost bet my salary on that won't be a snoozer. So what does that leave? If you he could sit on the sidelines and wait again, and with Chimaev, I don't know if you want to wait as long as it takes Chimaev to get back in the fight. So say I'm his manager and I say, hey, dude, you didn't get the shot. I'm gonna have you fight again. Michael Page
for Imavov.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I'm giving Imavov Dricus Duplessis.
Oh, okay. I like that. I'm giving him Page because the winner of that would be the next after that. It'd be like Dorado Hernandez. Then
honestly, as somebody who would sneakily love to see Michael Page sneak his way into the actual title picture, I want to keep him away from Imavov.
Oh yeah, and I mean,
yeah, because I think Imavov would beat him by unanimous decision in an absolutely terrible fight.
Yeah, and if you're the UFC, the best matchup that you could put on that the people would be excited for would be Michael Page. I mean, my casual fans would know him and stuff. Chimaev's a bad stylistic matchup for pretty much everyone in the division.
But for Page, like if Chimaev is minus 800, I totally get it.
But on the same side, if there's one guy who could beat him because they win 1 second, it's Page. Though I do think his like knockout power thing is completely overrated and everything. But he has that ability that he could land a flying knee, he could land a high kick. He could put you out. So we kind of have different opponents. I'm just thinking like a fight night main event. I like to see Michael Page in the main event of a UFC. Borralho, he's in a tough situation. He's fought a lot of guys on his way up. So like Jared Cannoniers and stuff. Like I'm not doing that. I'm kind of giving the other guy the name this time. I'm giving him Joe Pyfer. Fight night main event.
Okay, now Pyfer is booked.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, but it's pretty soon because I considered like throwing the winner of Pyfer and his next opponent. Let me check this real quick.
I wonder if he's booked.
Yeah, he's fighting Abus Magomedov in October.
Okay. All right, you know what? The winner. Then give me the winner. So I like that. Give me the winner. If Abus gets another win over another name, yeah, I'll do the winner of that one. What'd you have for Borralho?
You know what? I was staying pretty high for him. I was keeping both these guys at least peripherally in the title picture, and I was giving him Sean Strickland.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm so done with Strickland, but yeah.
I'm in report. Well, you know what? If you're really done with Strickland, then if Borralho washes him, we probably never see Strickland near the title picture again, and he's out of your way.
Yeah.
I just want to throw this out here because I'm in report. I said, and I think a couple other people in the chat have as well. Like people have obviously been clamoring for Page versus Izzy and Page versus Wonder Boy since Page got to the UFC. Like Page just flat out said, "Book it if you want, but it might end up being a boring fight."
It's gonna be boring.
Yeah, like that could be a lot of those. Each guy waiting for the other to go first, and it's just not happening.
Yeah, if we're being honest with Michael Page, most of his fights are kind of boring. People remember the highlights.
Yeah,
he's had some snoozers too. A lot of snoozers.
It's Rashad Evans, where the gap in entertainment value between his highlight reel and the average 3-minute stretch of any of his actual fights is the widest in MMA history.
Yeah, you think of Rashad Evans, you think of the knockout of Chuck Liddell, you think of the Sean Salmon high kick, and then if you got all the snoozes in between,
yeah, you think of him just in tough, like wrecking Mike Whitehead so bad that like Matt Hughes got like apoplectic and couldn't even speak and like just running out of the room. Yeah, like but then
it's bad. Rashad Evans had bad highlights when you have. He's on his like 20th UFC fight, and they're still showing the finale from the Ultimate Fighter when he's knocking out that guy. Brad Imes, he's dropping. He doesn't even knock him; he just drops him. But it looks so good because he's so much like bigger than him. But like you have to go back 20 fights to get that like highlight in there.
Yep.
Again, guys, it is like friggin' Noah's. I think I see animals lining up 2x2 outside. I don't know if I got to get out of here, but if you guys can hear that, I'm sorry.
I can't. We're good.
Okay. All right. Real quick, I thought it was actually a pretty good night for. I thought it was a pretty good night for referees into the main event and co-main event. I thought there was some pretty good stoppages. Well, actually, no, that's not. What am I talking about? There was one good moment for referees, so I'm like, hey, that is a good night for referees. But how about the 3 fouls? 3 fouls by Imavov and no point, no nothing. Like, what are we doing? What are we fucking doing? Anyways, let's move on. It was not the co-main event. Was a precursor, what's the word I'm looking for? What?
A harbinger, perhaps?
Oh, I would never use a fancy word like that. What's it called when you have a movie when there's like you go back in time? It's like beforehand.
Like
what's
a prequel?
That called again? Oh, prequel. Yeah, like that's what the co-main event felt like, a prequel for the main event, because we had another French guy beating the shit out of another Fight Nerds guy as Benoit Saint-Denis beat Mauricio Ruffy. No, baby. Sorry. Can you keep it on? It's hot. Or turn it up higher. Sorry. Saint-Denis won by second round submission.
Hit the bricks, Mrs. Shillan.
It's pouring rain outside. No one in the house.
Yeah, this is, you don't get this. This is why Sherdog.com did not get the contract with the UFC to broadcast their shows. We just got beat out Paramount because of me and Ben's lack of professionalism. But I mean, the gap on the ground was massive. I mean, Saint-Denis absolutely destroyed him on the ground.
And you know what? We suspected all along that whenever Mauricio Ruffy lost a fight, it was going to be from someone taking him down. I think we even both acknowledged it on the preview, but I said on the preview, and I said again, writing the text preview for the front page at Sherdog, I don't trust Saint-Denis to just do the smart thing and go in and get the W. I figured he was trending in the direction of being the next generation kind of Poirier or Gaethje, where their fights are exciting sometimes to their own strategic detriment. But no, he went right out, and I hate this word, but he kind of exposed Mauricio Ruffy. He showed this is a route to getting a pretty easy win over the guy that had been the fastest rising guy in the entire division. The question now is, how many other people in the division are like, I could do that. I would. Yeah, do that.
That's the question. Like, I don't know if he'd exposed him as, like, I see people saying that, and I see people on Twitter fraud checked and all this. And I understand what you're saying. That there's an avenue for victory, and he made that avenue like not only was there an avenue for victory, but he was like holding signs, like detour signs, like which way to go, like the big orange sign saying like, "Hey, this is the way to go. Don't miss it." Like he set himself up for that. Like I was just like scratching my head, like, dude, he's doing everything to lose this fight. But how many guys in the division can do that? That's the question.
I'm not suggesting this as a next matchup for him, but one name that I think it was Dev actually threw out in the Sherdog chat, he's like, Grant Dawson is watching this fight and going, oh shit, I could do that. And Grant Dawson is a guy that's never been ranked as high as Mauricio Ruffy was going into this fight tonight.
Sorry, I was reading Perrin Taken. I'm sorry if I'm saying his name wrong. or her name wrong. Why would someone be done with Strickland? Yeah, you do got a good point. He said he's not an appetizer. You want to arrest. That's pretty funny. I'll give you that. I did, in fairness, I did say that I'm on 3 hours sleep. Give me a pass. I probably shouldn't have said done. I was just like, I don't know. You got me there. I'll give you that. You got to win there. Nice job. I'm sorry. What was the name you said?
Grant Dawson, a guy that's never been as ranked as high as Mauricio Ruffy was going into tonight's fight, probably watched this and went, "Oh, dude."
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a great name. That was a good call. Yeah, it was really good. I mean, Denis has won 2 in a row now after he got smoked by Moicano, and remember, not that long ago, people were saying, "Oh, he's done. He could take all this damage," and then he's won 2 in a row. Are you stunned? I mean, was this just a great night? Like in France, everything was going right. Great stylist matchup. Are you kind of back like, oh, Denis is a guy that, he could be winning against top 10 guys?
When I made my next matchup for him, I made a matchup that would help me figure out which it is, because I don't know yet. Because hell, dude, I don't even know that if I can't think of any reason they would, but for some reason they had to run this exact fight back in 6 months. I'm not even dead certain it looks exactly the same. I'm not saying Mauricio Ruffy wins, but I'm guessing he comes out better prepared than that. Like, so yeah, I don't know about Benoit Saint-Denis, but I do know that his fights are damn fun to watch, and he's at least kind of a top 10-ish talent. So I have him in an exciting top 10-ish match going forward.
I think you could run that fight back right now, and Ruffy could win. Because I was watching the first round, I said, okay, that went terrible for Ruffy, but they got to tell him, like, all right, dude, you got to stay in the center, don't back up to the cage. You got to land shots. You get up on top. Don't get up. Don't let him up. Do some damage. To me, the first thing that I said, what the hell? Why did he not? Like, everything Ruffy was doing wrong. Twice, Saint Denis makes a mistake, ends up on bottom with Ruffy, and he treated him like he was Gordon Ryan. Like, oh, I can't be in this guy's guard at all. Like, guard play, and we'll get to guard playing very soon in a second, but like this ain't Hoist Gracie in 93. Like, that shit don't really work anymore. I'm like, of course, I know you can get an armbar and triangle. Yes, that happens, but like I said, he's not Gordon Ryan. He's not like an all-time jiu-jitsu guy. Like, I thought he had an opportunity to do some damage, maybe win the round back in the first, and then again happened in second, and he let him off the hook. Like, he made a mistake, and he didn't pay anything for it. Like, I tell guys all the time when I coach wrestling, guys know, like, one of my go-to sayings is like make him pay for that. When a guy shoots a bad shot, make him pay for that now. Like, you've got to score now. Because one, you want to get points, obviously, to win the match. But also, if his thing is shooting, and now you scored if it's shooting, he may not be shooting anymore or limit his shots, which limits his chances of scoring. So when someone makes a bad shot, you got to make him pay for it. And I feel like Saint Denis made a mistake, and he didn't make him pay for it. Then he starts backing up to the cage. The one spot that improves the guy's chances of taking you down, he did. Then at one point, it was I think it was the second time he got taken down. I'm a big guy about stepping knees, but stepping knees have to be when they're backing up. So they're not shooting, they're backing up, and you come in with a stepping knee. He did where he tried like timing an entry with stepping. Yeah. You see that every once in a while. A guy does a flying knee when someone jumps in. I think of like Hermes Franca against Sean Shirk and all these, like, they have these huge moments. But generally speaking, you do that, you're allowing them to get to your hips. And now they can take you down. And then another one, I'm like, damn, dude, what? There was 20 seconds around. You already lost a round. There's 20 seconds. Who gives a shit if he takes you down? There's 20 seconds left in the first round, and you got him back towards the cage. And I'm like, dude, throw big. Maybe you'll knock him out right now.
Now you throw the flying knee. Yeah.
Now you throw the flying. Yes, exactly. Because if you're taken out, big deal. And all he does is just kind of stare at him, and the 20 seconds goes away, and I go, that was a golden opportunity, and you didn't do shit. So I just felt like it was. I don't know if he's exposed in the sense he doesn't have the physical skills, but
that's not what. No, that's not. No, dude. Here's the thing. Like, it's only a fraud check or an exposure if you thought Ruffy was a future champ, or at least a future title challenger. And sure. I agree. He has a lot of work to do to regain that kind of cachet. But the guy I saw tonight, at worst, like, plays out over the next 5 years as this generation's Edson Barboza. Like, where Barboza, anytime he came against a kind of top 7 or 8 type guy generally got exposed because the path to beating him was always there, and it never really changed over the course of his entire career leading up until now. But it's not like Barboza was a joke. He's still one of the best fighters of all time. He's still in that tier just below the fighters that never won a major title. Like the version of Ruffy I saw tonight at worst plays out as that.
Yeah,
depending on matchmaking, he could regain all of his hype by just going out and slaughtering 3 people in the next 10 months.
Yeah, especially the way he does them. And you think about like the way he knocked out Bobby Green and stuff. Like it's exciting the way he does things. So before we move on, I want to talk about Herb Dean for a second in the first round. So Ruffy got kneed in the nuts. So I know people saying, "Oh, if Herb Dean didn't step in there, like he might have got stopped." And that's true. But in fairness, he did get kneed in the nuts. But my issue is not that Herb Dean stopped the fight, but Herb Dean didn't see it. Let them fight on, and like 30 seconds later, as Ruffy keeps saying, "I'm like, I got hit in the nuts," and he's like, "All right, stop it." And I'm like, there has to be a better way to do this. To me, a better way would be like how they call like a delayed penalty in hockey. I know that's not like perfect, but you say to the booth, "Hey, check it." Like you point to like you have help outside, like, "Hey, check it." But you got to let the action go on. Now, if they give you a sign like, "No, he got neither," like, "All right, now I'm breaking it." But just like I'm in a bad position, I got hit in the nuts. What if he didn't get hit in the nuts? Now you broke the position, try to set it back. It's like it's never good. So if you're in a bad position, just turn off the referee. I got hit in the nuts. Now in this case, he wasn't lying, but shit, if I got Damian Maya on my back and he's about to choke me out, hey, I got hit in the nuts.
Why wouldn't you?
We got to do something. It's like we had all these excuses about MMA and rules and all this because we're a newer sport, but dude, we're 30 years in now, 32 years in since UFC 1. Like, we got to clean this shit up now.
We're 20 years in since the UFC started partnering with major broadcast partners, since we started having UFC on ESPN and on Fox, like alongside quote unquote real sports. I completely agree.
Real quick before we move on from this fight, we want to matchmake for a second. You said, like I asked the question, can Saint-Denis beat top 10 guys again? I'm going to give him a guy. I'm actually letting you give the guy first. My guy, he's not top 10, but he'll be viewed like by the public as a top 10 guy. But,
I think we might have the same guy. I'm curious now. I got Dan Hooker.
Okay. I have a guy. I think the public, the casual public, not the hardcores, not even the hardcore, not even knowledgeable, like somewhat knowledgeable, like a medium. I was going Michael Chandler.
In terms of name value, he's even higher than Hooker,
That's
even though
saying.
competitively he's
That's
probably behind him.
Yeah. As far as
that was for Benoit Saint-Denis, right?
Yeah, Saint-Denis.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
As far as Ruffy, I'm throwing him back to like let him style on somebody. I'm giving him the winner of Jared Gordon and Rafa Garcia. Who he can style on them, but both are ground specialists. They can get you down. It can be a problem. So you kind of like answer 2 questions at the same time. That would get fraud checked. You get beat by those guys, then you're fraud checked. As a top contender, I'm saying. What'd you have for Ruffy?
I was giving him another kind of fast rising guy who's coming off a loss. I was putting him up against Ignacio Bahamondes.
Oh, you're throwing him like still pretty hard.
It's still pretty hard because again, I don't think Ruffy was necessarily completely fraud checked here. Like I'm trying not to overreact to what I saw in the cage. Honestly,
I don't either. I think it was a very bad game plan. I think it was Omari and Hampton running out of balance instead of staying in bounds. Like I don't think all of a sudden, Omari Hampton's an idiot and he'll never be good in the NFL. Before we get to the next fight, I do want to say something. The next one, two, I think all the way to the main card. No, all the way to the Gomez fight. I watched on location at a soccer field for my son's soccer game. How friggin' bad the ESPN app is. Like I can't wait for this to be on Paramount. I can't imagine Paramount being worse or being as bad.
Maybe we put up with 3 or 4 years of Bellator on Paramount, and it wasn't that bad.
No, I can't. First of all, I go on the app. It crashes for no reason. I got to log back in. I go to log in. It gives me error. Oh, it's down. Then there's no like timestamps when certain fights are. So you try to scroll, but it's 3 hours. So you go back. But every single time you hit a commercial, you have to watch an ad. And I'm like, what a disaster this is, trying to watch the fights. And then I'm losing. I'm trying to be like, I'm listening to, like, I'm watching the fights. I'm putting it down. But then this has nothing to do. I'll give ESPN, but ESPN sucks. But then I have the sun hitting me, so I can't see. So I can't watch that. At one point, I'm watching. Like, I'm trying to watch. Anytime my son's in, I'm watching them. And it's the little kids. They rotate them. It's not like starters and bench players. They're all playing. But I'm watching the fights, and I'm watching the Gomez fight, and I'm paying attention to the fights more than I'm watching the game. At one point, I'm like, "All right, come on, Robbie." He wasn't in the game. I'm like, "Come on, Robbie." He's on the bench. So, anyways, yeah, Porter Man's talking about that she's in a third world country watching on a TV powered by sheep walking in a giant wheel. That's true. So I shouldn't complain. I can take it and watch it on the go at a soccer game. So yes, you're right. But anyways,
it's not your fault that it took them 500 years to train the sheep to do that.
Yeah. We had Paul Craig take on Modestas Bukauskas. Bukauskas wins by first round TKO right at the 5-minute mark. In between rounds, Paul Craig did not answer the bell. Bukauskas, we'll get to Paul Craig in a second. Bukauskas has won 4 fights in a row, kind of like this surprising little run in the UFC. Are you believing the hype, or like, how are you viewing this guy? I mean, I should say there is no hype, but like, should there be hype? I should say.
Yeah, he's 6-1 since he's been back in the UFC, and again, he's always wanted to be the same fighter. We saw that from the first time he walked into the UFC. He's just finally able to do it now, and it's all down to him just being physically a lot stronger and mentally a lot more confident. Now he's like Lithuanian British Crow Cop, just this fast, powerful striker who just has realized, like, no, if I want to kick at range and the dude starts crashing the pocket, I'm just gonna either slide out the side, or I'm gonna get double underhooks, shove him off with some mean intention, kick his leg, and go back to work. Like, it's fantastic. He hasn't reinvented the wheel. He's just gotten better at doing the things he always wanted to do. He's still just 31 years old. Like, the thing about light heavyweight and heavyweight is, it's not just that you can fight until you're 38 or 40 or 41. It's that some of these guys don't hit their stride until they're 32 or 33.
Yeah.
I mean, he like, to use an example, like, he lasted unconscionably long, but Glover Teixeira was probably fighting at his absolute best when he was like 38.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but that's still, I still view that more of the exception than the rule. But yeah, but the upper weight classes are the ones that you can go much deeper. This is not bantamweight, flyweight, where that's, the young man's divisions. I'm believing him a little bit. Like, at one point he was viewed at the very bottom of the UFC division. Now I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's a tough out for people. I'd say he could crack the top 15. Like, I'd say that's a ceiling for him. But I kind of like to root for these guys that, were, kind of got smashed early on and worked their way back. Like, they're kind of fun, and like those kind of stories. Paul Craig, after the contest, he did retire, or, I mean, take every retirement for what, but he hung up the gloves. I thought it was super fitting that the way Paul Craig lost his final fight was pulling guard and then getting elbowed into oblivion. I'm like, that kind of sums it up perfect. We always take time to, how would you remember a fighter, positive, negative? What's your thoughts when 10 years from now someone mentions Paul Craig to you? What's your thoughts?
The best terrible fighter of his era in the UFC, or the worst good fighter, whichever way you want to put it, even more so than Michael Johnson, when you take his best wins and compare them to not even his worst losses, but just how he looked in an average fight. Like how does that guy have finished wins over Magomed Ankalaev and Jamal Hill?
He has 3 wins over current, obviously, Ankalaev, or former UFC light heavyweight champions. If you throw Shogun again, the Shogun he beat is not prime,
Right?
Destroying, winning the Grand Prix, destroying Rampage or anything like that. But still, I will say this about Paul Craig. We kind of have our group of guys that are like, I view them as the Shillan and Duffy favorites. And usually we kind of agree on the same people. Like we both like, oh, this guy's kind of fun. Like Jared Mershad's a guy we always like, kind of like he's fun to root for, but we know he's mid-card guy at best. Paul Craig has that where a lot of people love root for him. He's never been that category for me. I've never been a Paul Craig fan. He's one-dimensional. His stupid gimmick. I never the paint and face. The first time I saw it was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then if he backed it up, if Justin Gaethje was from Scotland and he did that, it'd be the most badass thing in MMA.
No. He painted himself like William Wallace, but then he had Beach Boys lyrics tattooed on his chest, and he pulled guard in like 2/3 of his fights. It's this amazing contrast. No, it's wild. And like, obviously I'm not British. I'm not from the UK at all. I'm not from Scotland, but there are some Scottish people where I have to be reminded that they're Scottish. And then there's some Scottish people where I need subtitles to understand them. He sounded like Groundskeeper Willie from The Simpsons every time out. Like,
yeah. He, I will say that, like you mentioned, like other guys we didn't mention, like he beat Andre Muniz when Muniz had hype. He beat Nikita Krylov. Like there's guys that he beat that is, it's absolutely incredible that he got wins over. I'm glad that he got his moment. Like I said, I was never a Paul Craig guy, but I'm glad he got his moment. I'm glad he didn't retire in the Apex and got cheers from 20 people. Like I'm glad that he got a standing ovation from the French crowd. Like, cool. I'm not gonna miss him. Some people will. Some people probably. I bet a lot of people on Twitter.
I kind of will a little bit.
A lot of people on Twitter. I am so glad to not break down Paul Craig. I refuse to break down his last fight. So before that, a really fun contest. Mason Jones took on Balaji Oki. Jones winning by second round TK. This we said early on when we were previewing this fight. What is the action fight? These two guys are action fighters, and it lives up to it. We had Oki almost hurt him. Oki hurt him in the first, almost finished him. Then Jones knocked him back down, and then Jones started dominating, landing some incredible elbows from on top. This is just, I don't know if people stock rows or anything, but this is one like if your friends were kicking back bears, they said watch one, you'd be like cheering. Like this was a great one.
It really was. It was a whole lot of fun, and for me, I mean we both made the same pick in this one. It played out kind of how I expected. Oki styled on him for a couple of minutes. Jones didn't die, and Oki started to slow down, and that was kind of the dynamic of it. Like, yeah, Jones.
Oki,
good. There's when you get a certain type of British fighter, and especially Welsh ones that are super pasty. Yeah. They're the certain stereotypes that come out. Well, he must be kind of unathletic, blue collar, hard nosed, like all the cliches come out. Jones is a better athlete than it might seem at first glance. Like he actually has like decently quick feet and hands. Like he's kind of like I said about Bukauskas. He just seems stronger and more confident when it comes to a scramble or a clinch situation where it's just two dudes trying to bully each other. He's sort of coming into his own, and he's in his 20s.
Yeah. I think I view him. What's his ceiling? I see like a Matt Favola, like who had a nice run, but takes too much damage. But if that's who you are, hell yeah, I'm excited to watch you fight every single fight. So Mason Jones, man, shout out to our very own Porta Baines. I know she jokes that I say it wrong every time. She is giving a history lesson on what is considered English and British, and not realizing that no one else in the world cares about that shit other than the people who live in that area. Sorry, I just poke. I like poking her. Before that fight, actually, no. Let's take a pause. And let's get to everyone's favorite portion of the card, the Know Your Host portion. Ben, I know this is your favorite. This is the only reason why you do the show. The only reason why I do the show.
Yeah.
Ben, you're up. What is your question this week?
Okay, well, obviously we've been doing the show together for quite a while, and we have a certain number of kind of people that we hang out with on these shows that have been following us for years. They know a little something about us just from us talking back and forth. What is a talent you have or something you're good at that people wouldn't necessarily guess immediately, and even people that kind of know you from the show might not guess? Like, if you know me from the show, or even you're just watching for the first time now, you might surmise that I, play music. If you know what I do for Sherdog, you might suspect that, I'm a decent writer, but I have other talents. What are some of yours, Keith? Or what's one of yours?
So I know I've talked on the show before that I mean, when I have time lately, I haven't, but I like smoking meats. Like I've told people that I like, cooking ribs. I like doing that. I believe that I should have been born in Texas. I fit that more than New England. I know I've talked about I'm a pretty handy guy, home repair guy, and I'm fairly handy, and at least I like trying it, and I'm pretty good at doing some woodworking and stuff. But hidden talents that people I'll give you some stupid ones. Even though I'm 43 years old and I'm probably, 20 pounds overweight, I can still do a handspring and a cartwheel to perfection. I think, and I'm pretty good at juggling.
If
Does
I
any of those surprise you?
If I'd known either of these things about you beforehand, we would have gotten kicked out of NASA a couple weekends ago, because I would have made you demonstrate.
I can do a perfect cartwheel. I can do a perfect cartwheel. I will video me doing a cartwheel and a handspring. I'd be surprised. Or what I think.
And I'll just loop it and put the Diego Sanchez yes. Yeah.
I used to be back. I don't know if I can do it anymore. I used to be really good at limbo back in the day. We do a limbo. I was good.
Whew.
That one I'm really good at. You're not going to believe this. I have never lost a game of categories. Ever. I've never lost. I'm excellent at categories.
Wow.
You get the game right now. Categories, sign me up. Ben, what are some things that you're good at that and what are they you're good at? And I'll read them on the air. But Ben, what are you good at that no one would guess?
It never really comes up on our show, even when we're just talking about personal stuff or whatever we did. But I enjoy cooking. Yeah, I'm a pretty
go-to
decent
meal,
cook.
Style.
I mean, I have a number of go-to dishes that I'm pretty good at, but I'm also pretty good at just either following a recipe with a pretty complicated one, or looking at what I have on hand and putting together a good meal. But if you eat a meal that I cooked for you, everything's going to be good. Like the vegetables are going to be properly done. Like the main dish is going to be well seasoned. Probably going to be pretty spicy. But yeah, I enjoy cooking.
Do you do spicy?
Yeah, like pretty spicy. I'm half Asian. I've lived in Texas for most of the last 2 decades. Lived in South America for a couple of years. I like it pretty spicy.
So, if you did chicken wings, you're getting the hot wings.
Not the eat on a dare wings that can't even touch your face afterwards. But
yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, not the death wish stuff, but yeah,
you get hot though.
Yeah, I get hot for sure.
You're not getting the atomic or something, but you get hot. So my wife is my wife can handle the hot. I am the opposite, dude. I am a bitch. I like buffalo, the flavor of buffalo, but I can't give me mild. I want mild buffalo. I can't do hot heat at all. I'm such a whip.
I'm becoming secretly convinced that Keith's wife is not actually Canadian but Mexican. The clues I'm using to put this together. I'm not saying she's tan, but she's more tan than Keith. She likes spicy food.
Not. That's not 100. Hold on a second. That is not true. That is not true. I am more tan than my wife because I got freckles on my side. So my freckles come together and give me like, I don't get brown, but I get like during the summer, I get like I call it the Kentucky Fried Chicken like look, like this golden orange look. No, definitely she is not.
Cool.
Now my oldest daughter is. And then the other four of us are all pale.
I'm surprised they let your oldest daughter out of Texas. I'm at that. I'm seeing a girl in like cut off denim shorts, cowboy boots, a cowboy hat, pretty tan.
Yeah.
I believe that she's your daughter because you've been talking about her for several years.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I think she's Texan. Yeah, Lila's Texan.
So my mom, if you ever met my mom, my mom is half Portuguese. I look like my dad. My mom is dark skinned. You never guessed. If you stand there and be like, "Oh, that's your mom," like, you would never guess it. She's so much darker than me. It's great. She's darker than my daughter. She's dark. But the funny thing is, you saw my daughter dressed up in like all Texas gear. That's not because she was in Texas. That's what she dresses like all the time. But I don't want to cut you off. So you're a very good cook. Do you do all the cooking in the house?
No, because my wife enjoys cooking too. Like we both like to cook, so it's something. But the funny thing is, like, we will cook together, but mostly when we're cooking, we just kind of, like I stay out of her way, vice versa.
But you have people over, you have guests over, and this is the meal. I want them to like me. I want to impress them. What's the meal you're making?
I do a pretty good Texas style chili con carne. Like, I do a Texas style. If there's beans, the beans are on the side. The dish is meat and chilies. And you're putting it over rice or beans. Yeah, like I make a pretty good chili.
Nice. You ever put it in competition?
Oh, good grief, no. Because I like things spicy, but like Texas chili competition spicy, no.
Yeah,
I
other people, some people in the chat.
Like,
we got some people who aren't usuals that they're in the chat. Like, what are these guys talking about? Like, this is the middle of the show where we get off topic so go back to the other stuff. I'm gonna put you on the spot, Ben. How about what is something you're terrible at that people might be surprised? So Dad said he's a great swimmer. Several records in his high school. Wow, nice. What are things you're bad at?
That's a good question. And I'm having a hard time thinking of it. And it's not because I think I'm good at everything. It's just because I really avoid the things I'm bad at. Like the privilege of being past 40 is that generally you don't have to do the shit you hate anymore.
Sure. I'll give you some things that I am terrible at. I'll give you two off the top of my head. So I'm looking in the background. I see all your musical, your guitars and everything. I don't have a musical bone in my body. I can't even whistle. That's how bad I can't even whistle. And my all-time favorite song is Patience by Guns N' Roses, which opens up with a big whistle. I can rock karaoke though, because I can sing with soul, but I can't hit the notes. But I will sell it. I'll give you another thing. I am good.
No, I thought of one, but go ahead and finish. No.
I'm also terrible at tying knots. Like, I can tie my shoe knots, but you give me any other thing, like I cannot tie a knot. I can tie like a shoelace knot. That's it. I can't do any other knot. I like roll up like extension cords correctly, and I'm a handy guy. Like I said, that's what I do. I get extension cord. I'm terrible at that. Like, my extension cord roll-up game sucks. What is something you're bad at?
Okay, I mean, I think of myself as a reasonably athletic guy. Like, I did, multiple sports in high school. Like, I'm a reasonably athletic person, but I'm bad at the hitting stuff out of the air, hand-eye coordination. Like, you bring me to the batting cages, I'm like the worst person there. You go to like Top Golf, where the whole idea is just to like drink margaritas and whack balls into the distance. I'm the dude that's like whiffing on the tee and just not even making contact with the ball. I can't explain it. It's embarrassing, like it's like I lose to unathletic people at that stuff the same way that even though I'm good at the guitar, like I'll lose at like Guitar Hero and Rock Band to people that don't actually play an instrument. It's just embarrassing. Yeah.
Hey, don't forget that it wasn't that long ago I lost to Glass Joe in the video game. I got knocked out by Glass Joe in the Punch Out game. So I would love to see you in the batting cages with my daughter pitching, just to see if you could touch the ball one time. How many pitches?
When I was in the best shape of my life, dude, the best shape of my life, my senior year in high school, when the last time I had an actual six pack, I was girl softball manager, and I just did it because there were some cute girls on the team. And so I ended up just, shagging fly balls and throwing them. No, a girl that can throw like a 60, 62 mile an hour rising fastball. Not only am I not hitting it, I'm flinching and like going to the dirt.
Yeah. The good thing is my
Lila would destroy me.
Yeah, she throws she gets you with the curveball. It looks like you can hit you and you drop back.
Yeah,
drop it on you, or she throw the drop pitch on you. So, all right, let's get to the other fights. We can't put it off any longer. That was a good topic. Nice one, Ben. I like that one. Reese McKee took on Alex Sola. So the next two fights, I will say this: I was watching a soccer game, so I wasn't able to watch as close as I normally do. How did you have the fight scored up to the stoppage?
Oh,
do you remember?
Let me.
Okay, while you're looking at it, I will say this. I was watching again. I'm watching a soccer game, so I'm not watching the score. I wasn't sending my scorecard in and made decisions. I started early before the soccer game. I was sending my scorecards in, but I was sitting there. I'm like, who's winning? I'm like, is Reese McKee winning? But I was like, am I just because I'm not watching that close? Am I way off? That's basically what I was asking.
Okay. I gave Sola both of the first two rounds, but between rounds 2 and 3, I kind of had the same crisis. I'm like, why do I have Sola up 20-18 when I almost feel like McKee's winning the fight? And that was right around the time that Jay Petrie asked, is Reese McKee the best terrible fighter in recent memory in the UFC? Yeah.
I don't think Reese is the best at anything, but Solo was faster. He obviously had more offensive weapons. That said, I thought the stoppage was horrendous.
Yeah, it was bad.
Agreed.
Bad stoppage. Bad. No,
really bad.
Completely agree. Bad stoppage. Agreed.
Does anybody
there were a couple
in the
bad
chat
stoppages tonight.
Well, there's one we're going to get to. I actually thought it was a great stoppage. So I wonder if we got to disagree. But anybody in the chat, just put in and we're not the show. We don't like rag anybody through. But if anybody thinks it was a good stoppage, just say so. I just want to see what people think. Solo's undefeated. I don't feel better about him after winning.
Well, all we know is he can beat one of the worst welterweights in the UFC, but he's a lightweight and he'll get his chance.
That is a good point. That is a good point. Before that, William Gomez took on Rochella. Rochella was the guy that came in with a little bit of hype, but Gomez was a pretty big favorite.
Interject?
Sure.
Before we jump onto this, I just want to interject one thing really quick, because in between Reese McKee versus Axel Sola and William Gomez versus Robert Huchawa was supposed to be the Patricio Pitbull versus Hussein Keita fight. It was canceled.
I was saving that for you, but go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Oh.
No, go ahead. Go with it.
Here's the thing.
I'll do this. I had one of those guys in my beers without even fighting. So, guys, go.
Yeah. And so Friday is one of my days off. So I'm not paying close attention. All I know is, okay, Hussein missed weight badly. The fight is off, and rumor is the UFC is going to cut him before he even fights. So I check in kind of first thing this morning and see where I'm like, he weighed in at 149. There are so many problems here, and there's so much blame to go around. Because, one, all right, no excuses for Keita. If you signed on the line to weigh 146 pounds and you were unable to do it, that sucks. That's unprofessional, and you deserve a consequence for it. At the same time, there are jurisdictions where that fight would have gone on, and Pitbull would have just gotten some of his money.
Sure.
So there's a problem with consistency regulation.
Okay.
And there's so many people that could have made that, because here's the thing. If Keita and his handlers had said, we've been fighting at 155 for the last 18 months, my boy walks around at 176, would Pitbull take a fight at 150? If they'd arranged a catch weight in advance, or just, yeah. Pitbull's like,
Pitbull.
Pitbull's like, yeah,
he
he's
probably
like,
would have fought at 170 if you wanted.
yeah, like
It's Pitbull.
Pitbull got knocked out 2 years ago because he took a fight in Tokyo up a weight class against a nobody on like a day's notice just for the hell of it. Like, this is Pitbull. He's not scared of anything.
Yeah, it's Pitbull.
So that would
He moved up
have
to knocked
saved.
out Michael Chandler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have saved.
So Dev is saying Pitbull turned it down, and B Cooley won. I'm sure that's Ben Cooley. He changed his name, I think. Turn it down. I wonder why. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, if Pitbull turned it down, first of all, it's Pitbull. He doesn't have to prove himself to anybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like his toughness or anything. He gets, in my opinion, I said this on the previous show, and there's a lot of hype on Keita, and I understand why. He's exciting. He's got big knockouts. But you're coming off beating Dan Ige to suddenly fighting a guy making his UFC debut. You're in their area of the world. You're not even a co-main event. You're on like the main card opener underneath like Paul Craig. And then your opponent, you're the old guy. You still find a way to make weight, and he doesn't. You have everything to lose, nothing to gain. You win. It's Keita was not that good. It's not like, oh no, Pitbull's the man. Keita was awesome, and Pitbull is a true contender. I don't blame him. Good for him. Good for Pitbull for not being a company man. That's how I feel.
Yeah, and I don't blame him for that, especially, again, if this was just sprung on him on Friday morning when Keita showed up and didn't make weight. If the offer had been made a week out, who knows? Maybe he would have said something different. Hell, if he was willing to fight at 155, they could have just slapped him in against Caio Fernandez. That actually would have been a really interesting fight. It highlighted how broken this whole thing is, because
it was such a weird matchup.
It was a weird matchup to start with. It highlights the problem with no consistent regulation. Like, everybody involved in this should have known exactly what was going to happen if one fighter weighed in a pound over, 2 pounds over, 5 pounds over, 10 pounds over. There should have been, it shouldn't have been at anybody's. It feels like the commission makes up their solution to this problem every time it comes up. Like, there is no commission I know of that has any policy in place for, if a fighter misses weight by this percentage of the contracted weight or by this many pounds, the fight is automatically off. It just always seems to be them pulling an answer out of their ass on the moment. And that is as bush league as it gets. Like, as unprofessional as it is to show up and not make weight, for the actual people in charge not to have a documented policy is the real unprofessional thing here.
Dev is saying that people heard rumors all week Keita wasn't going to make weight too, which probably pissed you off even more, that you're worried about your guy not making weight. You're straining yourself to make it, and then you hear this guy weighs in 4 pounds. You're probably pissed off, heat of the moment kind of thing. Might have been another reason why he's like, fuck this guy. You disrespecting me, Pitbull, the guy who's been around forever. Yeah. And the thing is why I was most disappointed about this fight getting canceled? I picked Pitbull to win, and you did too. I mean, we were picking Pitbull to win. And he was a big underdog. And I mean, I even saw afterwards, after the guy missed weight, how many people would distance Pitbull. And it's like, I really think Pitbull was going to be, I think this fight was going to look like Saint-Denis versus Ruffy. Like, I think he was going to swarm him with takedowns and eventually sell him. But
agreed.
Let's move on. William Gomez beat Robert Rochella by unanimous decision. I think there's some good moments in this fight. I think there were some low moments. I will say this. So I'll say the good. I think the way the fight went, Gomez, where Rochella's best avenue of victory was to get Gomez down. But unfortunately, closing the distance meant he got to the clinch. And that's where Gomez did his best work. Like, he really dominated the clinch. Now, when Rochella got him down, Gomez still has a big issue getting up. He's got a weak get it. There was poor. He was down on the mat 3-4 minutes at a time.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I watched this, and I know you're pretty high in Gomez. I was probably not as high as you, but I definitely like a guy like circled. Like, yeah, he could be something. I watched this fight, and I'm like, I don't think and I know I don't want to react from one fight, but I don't think he's that guy. I think he kind of fights down to his competition a little bit.
If somebody really wanted to embarrass me, they could certainly clip out me a week ago saying if any French fighter in the UFC right now is a future champ, I might be putting my money on William Gomi because he did not look like one tonight. Yeah. The only thing I'd say is both of these guys are like 28 years old or so. There are plenty of fighters that we wrote off at this relatively early stage in their career. Gomi's,
Sure.
But he definitely has plenty to change because here's the thing. And there are certain things that I come back to and kind of harp on over and over again that are kind of my pet subjects. You have them too. People have pointed out, that Keith will say when somebody pulls their head straight back to avoid punches, doesn't move their head off the center line. Well, you know why I keep saying that? Because it would be easier to name the fighters that have good head movement in MMA. So that's why he says that. Sure. Something that I find myself saying a lot is fighter A struggles to put his stamp on close rounds because he just doesn't throw enough volume.
Yeah.
William Gomi, he almost won the first round, landing about 3 strikes. Like, he landed about 3 strikes. Rushala landed about 15, but Gomi were much better and they were harder. If he just thrown a few more strikes, he probably could have won that round. I mean, in the end, yeah, just if he's gonna move up and beat top 15 competition, obviously working on his get-up game is going to be a big part of that because there are plenty of dudes that would just grind him into the dirt. But he's also got to work on just finding a way to set the pace and take control of the rounds so that he wins the close rounds in a more obvious fashion. And a lot of it just comes down to planting your feet and throwing back a couple more punches around. That's all it would have taken this time.
Yeah, I agree. Before that, another Frenchman got a win. Umar Sy, beat Bredson Ribeiro, winning by first round TKO. He was one of the biggest favorites. I think he might have been the biggest favorite on the card, and he absolutely delivered. He showed why he was a favorite. I mean, this was an absolute mismatch. Talk to me about
it. That's pretty much it. I said coming in that Ribeiro, he's only 2-3 in the UFC. He's probably going to be 2-4 after this. By the eyeball test, he's better than 2-4. Like he has things he does well. And normally at 205, if you have 1 or 2 things you can do well and you're aggressive enough to at least go out and try those things, you can usually stick around. He's been matched up against several people that are better than him at what he's good at. Just Zhang Mingyang, Umar Sy, also kind of big, young kickboxers, but they're just better at Ribeiro at doing their thing. So I'm still not completely sold on Sy. Like, even I'm not even talking about ground game type stuff, but just putting him against other kickboxers. I mean, we just saw the Alonzo Menafield fight, but you throw him in against someone like Dustin Jacoby, that's kind of a middling guy that wants to stand up fight as well. I think he beats him. I think someone on the next tier up, like a Khalil Roundtree, probably wrecks Sy at this point. He's young. He has time to develop, but he's not going to get many more branches than Ribeiro's as he goes up the ladder.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching this fight, and like you said, it was an absolute mismatch. And I mean, Ribeiro's so bad on the ground that Sy looked like a freaking top. He looked like Ricardo Rona out there. Like, he took him down. It felt like an old school, or like a Kevin Railman. It felt like an old school matchup, like the striker versus grappler. And again, Sy is not Kevin Railman on the ground, and that's what it felt like. It was like, oh my God, Ribeiro's that bad. He's so bad. I wonder, Reed. I told him I was going to quote him. One of the absolute best, maybe the best media guy in the world of MMA. Aaron Bronstetter he's a great follow on fight night, and
Yes.
I mean really anytime. He put out that Ribeiro after all the takedown attempts from C. What do you think Ribeiro's? I don't know if you saw this tweet. What do you think his takedown defense percentage is? Of all of in his 5 fights in the what did you say 5 fights in the UFC?
Yeah, it's 6 now, but this was his
Okay,
6th.
6.
Is
Okay,
it worse
6.
than
What's his
50%?
Oh, way worse.
Oh,
According to Aaron Brown, I didn't fact check it or anything. I'm taking him for his word. He has a 0% takedown defense.
good grief.
Yeah, yeah, that's really bad. As far as matchmaking, see, you already mentioned the guy that I was going to match him against. I had Dustin Jacoby right now.
I like that just fine. I mean, I had him against the winner of Jim Crute and Ivan Urslan. I'd especially like to see him against somebody in Crute that will try to take him down.
Sure.
But I'm fine with him fighting Dustin Jacoby. Yeah. Don't threaten me with a good time.
A fight that on paper I was like, oh, this could be a snoozer. Ended up being an absolute banger. Marcin Tybura welcomed Antai Deli into the UFC. Deli getting revenge against his old nemesis, the guy who broke his leg, winning by first round TKO. I will say this. I don't know how far Deli will go in the UFC, but I enjoy seeing the guy that I kind of view as the second tier organization. You're not your UFC, but your career Bellator guys, your career PFL, whatever. Like that's later on in life, and like most people aren't going to know them, and like they kind of have their moment. Seeing the guy crying, being 35 years old, crying like that, knocking out Marcin Tybura, I was like, that's a really nice moment. Nothing I say for it, but that was a nice moment to see that guy win.
It really was. It felt good, and I picked this wrong. This is one of the fights we disagreed on, and you were right, and it was a combination of factors.
Yeah, I get the right winner. I wasn't right how it went. Like I expect this to be a snoozer. I thought we could get some. We did get some clinching. I thought we got a lot of clinching.
Yeah,
Deli looked fantastic. This is the best he's ever looked.
Yeah,
physically he looked a little thinner, and then speed wise, he looked like a top 5 heavyweight out there. I mean, say what you want about Tybura. No one runs through Tybura like that, and not be a top 5 guy, guy.
Exactly. The people that have run through Tybura like that on the feet in particular, we're talking about like Tom Aspinall. Aside from that, the times that he's gotten knocked out, it's like Derek Lewis after losing the first 12 minutes of the fight. Like, no. I like that
he might not be Derek Lewis might not be a top 5 guy, but he has like top 5 all-time knockout power. Like the way he won is the way, like, is what only Derek Lewis can do.
That's what I'm saying. Like what D'Elia did in its way was more impressive because D'Elia didn't have to get mashed and ground down at the base of the cage for 2.5 rounds and then uncork one incredible punch. It's so rare to see heavyweights with reach that use their reach properly. Like just his hands were so fast. Tybura was getting blistered with the jab on his way in every time. I like that you pointed out that D'Elia just looked to be in better shape. He's been on the shelf for most of the last 2 years. Like I said, he had the one Jorgen De Castro fight since being released from PFL, but to come back in about 10 pounds lighter, looking fast, slick, 35 is not old. Just, give me 6'5", 238-pound D'Elia that looks like kind of like a new man in the UFC. I picked the fight wrong, but even if I picked D'Elia to win, I didn't expect to be excited about D'Elia's next fight, and I am. That's the big upset for me.
Yeah. So am I. I mean, he looked very fast, accurate. He looked athletic. Obviously, he showed power, and he came out. I mean, he came out very aggressive. He had a look when he was coming out, smiling like he knew he was going to win. And I felt like I was on the fence saying that. I'm like, man, he like almost like he had a secret. Like he was meant for this moment. Like he looked great. Is my internet really bad tonight?
Yeah, you're pretty grainy. Like your video is grainy and your voice keeps dropping out.
Oh, all right. Well, I could probably I can turn this light off and plug in to the. I don't know. It's probably I don't know. I'll try to figure it out. Sorry, guys. This deep in, deal with it. I'm sorry, guys. I'll make sure next time it's not like that. The problem is if I plug right in, I lose this light and then I get all shadowy and stuff. But it is what it is. He mentioned that in the last 2 years, the only person he has fought is Derek. Obviously, is Jorgen De Castro. Like, that's not that impressive fighting Jorgen De Castro. I mean, you can go to a bar in Providence and not pay your cover fee and have to fight Jorgen De Castro because he's bouncing somewhere. So, the guy I'll do next for him is the guy you mentioned. I had him scheduled against Derek Lewis.
Exact same. I got D'Elia versus Lewis. Like at this point, that's what Derek Lewis is for.
An absolute squash match. Kyle Fernandez took on Harry Hardwick, who took a fight on such short notice we didn't get to break down the fight. Fernandez winning by first round TKO. I will give Hardwick a lot of credit for stepping up on 5 days' notice, but holy shit, was this an ass woman? There was massive levels between these two guys.
Agree. I actually did have to preview this since the text preview for the prelims came out on Wednesday, so I kind of studied him, gave my prediction. And here's the thing. I predicted Fernandez to win, but I thought it was going to be a fight where Hardwick at least showed he belonged. Assuming he even gets another chance, he's got a hell of a lot to prove. Even back down at 145. He looked absolutely terrible. Looks like a character from Great Expectations. If all Dickens characters look like they have all their facial features crammed into the bottom third of their face, then yes, for sure. But just
he looked like the guy who plays Smeagol. I don't know the actor's name, but the guy who played Smeagol in
Andy Serkis. Yes,
there you go. That's what he looked like.
And here, like, Hardwick, for a guy who presents as a striker and his best performances in Cage Warriors have all been in kickboxing matches, to be that outclassed and have that little ability to deal with the leg kick from a guy that he knew was a leg kicker, that was tough. Like, outside of just early days of MMA or Pat Barry sawing people off in his first 3 UFC fights, you don't normally see a fighter wrecked that badly just by leg kicks, but that's all it was. Can we talk about when Hardwick really, really hurt his stock? Because the worst things Hardwick did for his own career were all after the fight was over.
But wait, what did he do afterwards?
He crawled over to congratulate Fernandez, and he needed to be wheeled out. I guess Gilbert Burns wasn't there to carry him. Like, dude, because even more than losing your debut fight in one-sided fashion, that is what's going to stick in people's minds. And if Dana isn't in Paris and some intern is throwing together, hey, here's your 20-minute clip show so you can have a handle on what happened, that's going to be in there. Like, that's the way you get cut after a one and done in the UFC. Because normally you step up and help the UFC on short notice, especially if you're a guy like Hardwick that was probably going to at least be on the Contender Series within the next 12 months. That's almost the only thing you can do to not get called back. Like, that's worse than Max Roscoff, like, quitting on the stool and having to have, his coach yell at him and stuff.
Oh yeah,
like,
that was terrible. That was terrible. I will say this, in fairness to him, that was one of the most brutal leg kicking displays I've seen in recent history. And we've had a lot of them, but that one was as bad. And somehow Fernandez, I felt like his stock rose, even though he fought he got, an absolute tomato can. But that's what you should do to a tomato can. It should be that scary. It should be that one-sided. Let's move on. Before that, Sam Patterson took on Trey Waters. Patterson winning by first round TKO. I said earlier that there was a terrible stoppage. I thought this stoppage was incredible. I thought it was perfect. Agree or disagree?
I was fine with it. Yeah,
Waters was out on the feet. He was about to get blasted the next week.
Exactly. And there was no longer any question of, he's recovering, he's going to recover. He's just getting hammered. Mm-hmm. And
the next
might have taken a couple more before he went absolutely limp, but he was cooked. That's the only thing about the stop. It's not even that complicated. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easy to say. The assignment is easy. Protect the fighter from unnecessary damage, but leave no doubt as to who won the fight.
Yeah.
This was a perfect example.
The next shot was good. Next shot was going to knock his head off. I will say this. Patterson has now won 4 fights in a row, all by first round knockout. I got to stop putting some respect on his name. He's starting to make me become a believer. And I viewed him as the lowest of UFC talents. 4 in a row now. I'm like, there's no doubt his power is legit.
Yes.
And I did mention like how much improved. I apologize. Who someone tweeted on sent a tweet online and said him moving up in weight was probably the biggest positive. So, yeah, that's a good point.
Completely agree. Hooray for moving up to your appropriate weight class. And I love when they interviewed him afterwards and they just flat out said, "What's the difference?" And there's no, "We're not here to take part. We're here to take over" shit. There's no, just like hard work. I like the attitude. He's clearly been working on his game. And no, I still don't think he's probably a future top 10 fighter in one of the toughest divisions in the sport. But
no, he's
more than proven he belongs.
Absolutely. And I thought this is a guy that already be out of the UFC by this time. You know, you go back a couple of years. Before that, speaking of might be out of the UFC, Brad Tavares took on Robert Brycek, and I apologize for his name. Brycek winning by 3rd round TKO. I will say this. I said, I don't know how shot Brad Tavares is. We might know. Brad Tavares is absolutely shot. He cannot take shots anymore. He does not react to strikes anymore. He's done.
Yep.
Brad Tavares
I picked Tavares. Nope. I picked Tavares to win this one, even in recognition of the fact that he's been slipping, but he's really slipping because Brycek is the exact kind of meat and potatoes brawler that Tavares would have schooled even just 2 years ago. But yeah, his style has always involved him having to take a few shots, roll with them, and get his own game going. That's what happens when you're a technically sound but relatively low-powered striker at middleweight. He can't take him anymore. And if he can't take him anymore, I mean, he did try wrestling. That was to his credit. I like that he's realistic enough to try to find a way to victory. But if that doesn't work against Robert Brycek either, then yeah, you probably are done.
And the one takedown he got in the first round actually gave him a chance to win because Brycek suddenly got he gave away the second round because he got so gun shy because of the takedown that I'm like, Brycek is so much better than Tavares at this point. He might give this fight away. Like I'm watching it going into the 3rd round and go, oh my God, he's going to let Tavares just leg kick and move to a victory. I'm glad I picked Tavares too. And I'm glad Brycek got the win here. We had a retirement tonight in the middleweight. A light heavyweight, but former middleweight, Paul Craig. Brad Tavares should join him. It's time. Before that, first of all, why this fight was second on the card is ridiculous to me. But Renat Fakhretdinov took on Andreas Gustafsson. Fakhretdinov winning by 1st round TKO. Gustafsson came out very hectic like he always does, and he walked right into some hard shots from Fakhretdinov. You pressure, it works great. Usually we love pressure, but sometimes you walk into the shots, and Fakhretdinov got another win. He's now 6-1 in the UFC. Obviously, it's a crazy hard division, but I mean, do you believe in Fakhretdinov?
Cautiously, yes. As we know, he had the one draw. His win over what's the Brazilian guy's name that's slipping? Like, it was controversial. I thought he should have lost his last fight before this, but you know what? He's still only 33. I always keep thinking he's older than he is. And yeah, I do think that he is a future top 10 guy in this division. I think there is a ceiling. I don't think he's a future title contender, but he's kind of this half generation later is Santiago Ponzinibbio or Vicente Luque, like an exciting, fun, well-rounded guy who is probably going to win enough fights in a row to kind of get himself some fight night co-main events and, you know, just kind of kiss the lower edges of the top 10. In fact, if he wins his next fight, I think he's probably there.
A couple guys are in the
Carlos
chat.
Leal for the guy saying yes. Thank you.
Yeah, the Coliseum fight. That was a fight that a lot of people thought he lost. But you know what? I'll say this: a lot of people believe Gleason Tebow should have beat Habib Nurmagomedov. Like just because he won take it what it's worth, but just because someone won a fight or that I think they probably should have lost doesn't mean like that's the level they are. Like other people have bad nights.
And here's the thing.
I believe
it's not like Fakhretdinov got some huge boon out of a robbery. If he'd end up losing a split decision to Leal or something, he might still have been fighting Gustafsson this weekend anyway. It's not like he parlayed that into a fight with Stephen Thompson or Gilbert Burns or something, like some top former contender on his way down. Like he's fought another dude from general population and got right back on track. You don't put together a long win streak in a sport like MMA without at least a little bit of luck.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm going to matchmake him. I'm going to give him a name. Like at this point, he deserves a name. Like maybe even like a co-main on a fight night or something like that, or maybe like a featured prelim on a good pay-per-view card. I'll give him Chris Curtis. That to me would show if you beat Chris Curtis, you're legit.
Okay, I have a different name, but the same idea. I had him against Danny Rodriguez.
Okay, yeah, same range. So we're looking at the same range. Portugal had the better line. So when is he fighting Neil Magny? Yeah,
see,
that's true.
Nobody was calling Neil Magny out 5 years ago, but now everybody wants a piece of Neil Magny. Yeah,
exactly. And the opening fight, another one I think that was way too down on the card. Sam Hughes took on Sean O'Bannon, and the only female fight of the card. Sam Hughes winning by second round sub. I mean, Hughes absolutely smashed her, exposed a huge flaw in Bannon's takedown defense and her grappling. And I mean, Hughes has continued to improve. She now has a winning record in the UFC, which I think a lot of people would have doubted, 3 years ago. She's won 3 in a row. I'm not saying she's a top 15 girl in it, but she has turned herself into a tough out. And you beat Sam Hughes, you're someone to watch.
Completely agree. And huge credit to Sam Hughes for just figuring out what she's good at and starting to do that. Because if you look back at her in LFA or even her first couple fights in the UFC, she presented as a striker and clearly thought of herself as a striker. Got completely exploited on the ground by Vanessa Demopoulos in LFA. That was, a lot of people's sub of the year in 2020 or whenever that was. She lost her first 3 fights in the UFC. Could easily have been cut right then. And hell, she might be retired by now. But she suddenly realized, you know what? Yeah, we probably did. And we would have been wrong. Because here's the thing. She realized none of these chicks can wrestle. I can't either. But if I start working on it, I can probably turn that to my advantage. And also,
that's right.
I'm kind of a hard-nosed, rough-housing chick from Iowa. I should be able to pick up some wrestling just by osmosis. I should be able to learn how to wrestle from the drinking water here. And she's turned into just kind of a junior Macy Barber, where she's effective at kind of slugging her way into the clinch and then mauling people. Most of her takedowns don't have names, but they work. And she makes
that's a good. Yeah, I think that's a very good comparison, like a JV version of Macy Barber. That's really good. And she definitely, like, being from the Midwest, she has a cousin who wrestled somewhere, like, for sure. Her dad wrestled something like. Yeah. All right, so we've covered all 13 fights as deep as anybody has. Let's get to the fun stuff, the awards, the Bulls and the Bears, the cut list, Dude Seriously, and the grade. And, of course, the last one, the listener of the night. Ben, which one do you want to do first?
Might as well get the cut list out of the way.
All right. The cut list. The way the cut list works, if both me and Ben have the same name on the cut list, we give the UFC permission to cut. Like we said previously about Sam Hughes many years ago. Ben, I would have had 3. Paul Craig did it for me, but I've been trying to cut Craig for 5 years now. I only have 2. And I think that's going to surprise you. Mind you, I was going to soccer games and stuff, so I might be able to convince. Sometimes when I do that, I can't think dig into my notes as much. So I'm getting distracted, and then I'm rushing trying to catch up. So, who do you have on your list?
I have, let's see, one. Do I only have one fighter? I have two.
All right. Okay, two. Let's hear your first one.
Not, I would have cut Paul Craig. You know.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? Give Paul Craig a job with the UFC. Like, give him some like UFC Europe, some kind of UFC UK.
Does the Europe need a Scottish translator?
Yeah, UFC ambassador or some shit to something. I don't know. Set up like a, what do they call those? Like an Apex, one of those. What do they call those things where they like trying to find talent? Put one in like the UK and have Paul Craig run it or some shit. I don't know. UFC gym or something. So what would you have? What was your name you had?
I'm letting go of Brendan Himero. At some point, after all I said about being better than your record, at some point you are what your record is. He's 2-4 in the UFC, and the times he's lost bad.
Yes, I'm okay with getting rid of him. I think he got saved because of the Russian during the soccer. So I think I saved him. Just for the Europeans out there, just know my son plays soccer because of my wife. I'm totally against that. Like, just so you know, like, oh god, it's so boring. It's so freaking boring. He's actually pretty good at it too. So, I was getting rid of the first guy on the list, Reese McKee. Lost 3 out of 4. I was getting rid of Reese McKee. I know the stoppage was really bad, so maybe you can save him. So you saved Reese McKee, and I saved Ritson Rivero.
No, I wasn't done.
The other person I was added.
I wasn't done though.
Oh, you said you had one. You said you had one. You said you only had one.
I thought I said I had 2.
Okay, good. Give me another one. I'm sorry. Okay, good. Give me a second one. Was it Reese McKee?
No, but I'm fine with him going. It was Brad Tavares. Like, Tavares at this point has lost 3 of 4, 5 of 7.
5 of 7.
And
so,
his he hasn't had a finish in the UFC in 7 years. Like,
yeah, good Lord. That's bad. That's really, really, really bad. So yeah, Brad Tavares was the other name I had. So he was like the official middling middleweight when we had to think of like, oh yeah, give him like a middle, like, lower mid card guy at middleweight. And Brad Tavares was always the first guy I thought of. So I had to change my name if the UFC gets rid of him. All right, let's get to let's do dudes seriously. I usually end that a little later. Let's go a little higher. I don't have as many good ones as I normally do because again, not my normal. I do my best when I'm just sitting on the couch and have nothing else to do. But you want to kick off dudes seriously? You want me to?
I've got 1 or 2, if I may.
All right, go ahead. Sure, take it.
I normally try not to harp too hard on things that they say across the UFC desk in the heat of the moment. Like, I speak about this stuff for 5 or 6 hours a week in an unrehearsed show, and I say stuff all the time that I go, oh, that's not what I meant to say. That was dumb. But I keep coming back to Michael Bisping saying that tonight's show was one of the greatest events ever. And I'm struggling for what he even might have been trying to say and thinking. Like, if I could think of what that was, I'd throw it out right now.
But he didn't say one of, because I had it on my 2. I had it on my dude seriously. He did not say one of. He said this may be the greatest UFC event of all time.
And there are, and see, the whole problem with this is you don't have to oversell this.
No,
there are things that he could have said that would have been defensible and still extreme. He could have said, can you believe that MMA has only even been legal here for 5 or 6 years? And all of a sudden, this might be one of the best live crowds I've ever been in front of for a UFC event. Because it did sound absolutely bonkers. Like, just,
how about one of the best one of the best cards we've ever had in Europe? And I'd be like, okay, that probably is. Or one of the best crowds, like you said. Come on, the greatest UFC event of all time. I'm not going to remember this a month from now.
No.
If you ask me a month from now, What was the co-main event of UFC Paris?
You have to think
I
for a
can
second.
remember.
Yeah.
Shit, if you asked me a month ago, two months ago, what was the main event? I don't remember. So, all right, what else you have?
Oh, okay. This isn't really, it's sort of a dude seriously, but it's a stitch back dude seriously. If you watch the preview, you know that I mentioned that before he was in the UFC, Robert Brychek sent Sherdog some photos, to put on his profile. I said they looked like dating site profiles, didn't get any more specific than that. I'm just going to put things on the screen real quick. Maybe 5 seconds each. Here we go. Robert Brychek, number 1.
Oh, you should save this for the end. Nice.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh, where's the other one?
I hope my internet doesn't make it not as make it fuzzy. I hope it's on your internet, doesn't, because it's crossing.
Oh yeah,
over
no,
onto
it's
my screen.
perfectly clear.
Okay, perfect.
And
That's
here's
fantastic.
He's
my favorite fighter now. He is, yes, he is my favorite fighter.
All right. Anyway,
that's fantastic,
dude. Seriously,
that is it. No, good for you. That's it. That's what we need to get. Every one of them. Every single one of them.
Incidentally,
nice,
guys, if you ever send something to Sherdog, please know that we keep it forever.
Especially Jay. Jay Petrie's gonna look at that. Oh yeah, and he's got the memory. He won't forget. He'll pull that shit out of anywhere. So I'll give you a couple dudes seriously. How about starting the card? Shauna Bannon calling Sam Hughes a generic American fighter. Dude, seriously? That's what you get for messing with the USA. Yeah, USA. Way to go, Sam Hughes. USA. Screw you, friggin' I don't know, Irish fighter.
Yep.
Anyways, how about Michael Bisping? He's the worst. I don't give a shit what it is. Michael Bisping is the commentator, and it's not even close. Yeah. He called Deliche, a 35-year-old, a top prospect. 35 years old, Delia, a top prospect, 35 years old. And my last dude, seriously, Michael Bisping talking about how great William Gomez's get-up game was about 4 minutes into him getting stuck on the canvas for 4 minutes straight. Dude, seriously?
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get to the awards. What do we have for awards? Any awards yet?
We should at this point. Let me. Actually, how
about this?
Don't
save it. We don't have any.
Actually, we do. There are 4 performance of the night winners. Okay. No fight of the night.
No. Oh, that's too. I thought Mason Jones fight could have got it because of how it went. But okay, so 4 performances. This is gonna be hard because the prelims had 7 stoppages to start.
They sure did.
Ben Cooley says we got this looking for a top 15 ranking with a win over Paul Craig. He did in fantasy. He did. He's on a 4-fight win streak, but yeah, dude, seriously. I think Delia, anti-Delia, I don't know why I'm screwing up his name so bad. Anti-Delia deserves one. I'd go Fakhretdinov because it was so quick. I'll go Saint-Denis because how dominant that was. Patterson, but there's people I left off, so I'd probably give Patterson one because that was a really fun one. But what would you give before you tell us the answers?
If I'm given 4 performances of the night, and for what it's worth, I would have been fine with Jones and Oki getting fight of the night. But if you tell me it's got to be 4 performances of the night, I'm going Saint-Denis. I'm going Bukauskas. That was underratedly nasty. I'm going Ante Delia, and I'm probably going. Yeah, I'm probably going Renat Fakhretdinov. But if ever there was a night to just give $50K to everyone who finished their fight, this might have been it. Because, like you said, seven finishes on the prelims. 5 of them were in the first round. A lot of them were brutal. Would have been a good one.
I love that I pronounced Delia's name wrong, and I've seen him fight probably 12 times, and I've seen him fight in person 2 or 3 times. and interviewed him afterwards, and I still get his name wrong. I'm sorry, guys. I never said I was professional. Never said I was professional. You give me a crack at on Broad Street, I could pull those names out of my hat easily. But all right, let's get to the Bulls and the Bears. The Bulls and Bears, the stock market reference. You want to be on the Bulls list. You do not want to be on the Bears list.
Do you want to know who actually won the awards?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. $50,000 to Benoit Saint-Denis for his submission win in the co-main.
Yep.
Mason Jones gets $50K for himself for rolling over Bellagio.
You know what? I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Ante D'Elia for just blitzing Marcin Tybura. And
Absolutely.
one that I don't totally agree with, Caio Fernandez gets $50K for, I mean, has anyone in the UFC it was brutal, but has anyone that you can think of gotten a bonus for less work and less risk than what he had to do against Harry Hardwick?
No, I mean, think about it. Facardina finished it even quicker. Facardina finished quicker. I had a much harder matchup. It was actually I think he closed as the underdog. I think it was a pick when we were picking.
No, Facardina was the slight underdog, even when we were picking.
Oh, was he? Oh, it was okay. But I mean, like, it was a super close fight, and then he got a really fast stoppage. So, but whatever. I mean, all right. That sometimes some of those are like they need the fight to stay on, and they give it to him for cooperating or something. I don't know. Who knows? So let's get to the Bulls and the Bears. The Bulls and the Bears are stock market reference. You want to be on the Bulls list. You do not want to be in the Bears list. We do it hockey style, like 3, 2, 1 stars of the game. We'll start with the Bulls. Ben, I'm gonna let you go first. What do you have for Bulls?
Okay. Bulls. S. Paffron. Is that saffron with a P in it? I don't know. Throw this out there. France. The UFC has been going to France roughly once a year for the last 3 or 4 years. I think they might have snuck in 2 shows at some point. This is the kind of show that makes the UFC go, okay, maybe we should start going there 3 times a year. Like, this is the kind of show that maybe makes France become the next England for the UFC, where they go at least twice a year.
That's cool.
Like,
it wasn't very good.
The house was packed, and it wasn't one of those things where they say it's a sellout and then they pan through the crowd. Third fight from the top, and the lower bowl was like a third empty. Like, this was packed. Yeah. It sounded packed. The crowd went bananas.
It wasn't Vegas.
And
I feel like now it almost feels like crowds in general are an A+. But Europeans do it better than anybody. But I think there's 2 reasons. One, they obviously don't get as carded as much, but also they're getting it at a normal time, which they're not used to getting. So I think it gets them even more excited.
Also, they're used to packing stadiums for soccer and F1, both of which suck. So you even put an average fight night card in front of those people. That is some manna from heaven. Yeah. Hell yeah.
I don't know what either one of those sports are. I don't know what that is. Well, first of all, hold on.
F1 is just kind of like soccer and car racing.
All right. You ready for me to really piss off Europeans? Like, soccer is a sport. It's boring, but it is. It's like auto car racing is not a sport. I'm sorry. Like, the person doing the work can't be a machine. Like, yes, I understand there's a guy turning the wheel, but generally speaking, like, his engine blows up. Like, if what you do as a driver, like you lose a race and has nothing to do with what you did, and you just had bad luck, and like, a head gasket blew or some shit. Like stop. Like, that's not a sport. It's like a competitive thing. It's like tic-tac-toe is competitive. That's not a sport. Anyways, there you go. Europeans are.
Yeah. So France.
I understand it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Before you get at me, I understand it's super freaking hard. I get it. I understand the people who do it are super skilled, no doubt. I understand that they're insane to be driving 200 freaking miles an hour, an inch from another car, no doubt. But it still sucks. Anyways, can I tell you a story real quick about France? Can I tell you real quick, like 30 seconds? So when I was in the Army, when I was going to Iraq, we were on a plane. It was only us. We were the whole plane, my whole company. I mean, it was, I don't know, 200 guys or something, gear, everything. And the 2 pilots were so badass. They left the cockpit open for anybody who wanted to go into the cockpit while they were flying and talk to the pilots, see. So, like, everyone's taking turns. People did it right away. I was probably about 4 or 5 hours in. And I went, and when I went in the cockpit and get a view that very few people ever get to see. She's killing me. That's a good one.
Ding, 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 ding.
Just pure luck. I did it while they were going over Paris, and they pointed out the Eiffel Tower to me and everything. It was such a cool experience seeing the freaking 200 buttons, and like everyone looks at it playing from the side window. I get to see from the front. It was an experience I'll never forget. So I don't know who those two guys are. I took a picture. It was an awesome picture. Those guys are. Have you been to Paris?
I have not.
No, neither have I. One day.
Would love to.
It is the what is it? City of Love or something? We'll have to do a double date there.
It's the City of Lights, and it is famous for being a city of love. But I'd go. Yeah. I mean, right. we should probably bring some women, like our wives or something, so like to kind of quash the rumors. But yeah like
it's 2025. Don't judge. What's your second bull?
Second bull, Ante Dalia. In a sport where I feel like every single week I say about some 145 through 170 pounder, you got to do so much to get into the top 10 or the title discussion in this division. You got to win 9 of your first 10 UFC fights, or win your first 5 and be spectacular in some way. That ain't it at heavyweight. Ante Dalia, just by showing up and in a pick'em fight with a middling top 10 guy and dusting him, just kind of elbowed his way past a lot of people in line. Really, they can't book Ante Dalia any lower than the 7th guy from here. He's about 2 wins away from a title shot. That's impressive. That is a huge Bulls moment for a UFC newcomer who came into relatively modest expectations.
I don't normally put up these comments on the screen, but anytime someone says they can beat up Bob Simpson, all the trolling he does, that deserves to be on the screen. Nice.
That's pretty funny.
All right, what else you have?
I'm gonna go Benoit Saint-Denis. I think it's the most obvious one, but if you let me go first, I'm gonna grab the low-hanging fruit.
Sure. Yeah.
Leaving aside that I picked Mauricio Ruffy to win, you picked him to win. He was a 2-1 favorite. Considering what I said about Saint-Denis seeming to be ready to fall into that category of exciting lightweights, to see him just fight a smart game plan and what he did was he neutralized a dangerous fighter. He took an extremely dangerous fighter and basically beat him with minimal risk to himself. He just short-circuited just about everything that Mauricio Ruffy has done spectacularly. A big moment up for him, and this redeems him as a future contender in a way really nothing else since those back-to-back losses to Poirier and Moicano have done. Like, I feel differently about Benoit Saint-Denis than I did 3 hours ago, which I did not expect to say.
Yeah, I agree with all of them. I mean, Dalia was definitely on my list. I mean, what a performance by him. I don't know how far he's going to go in the UFC, but a really nice moment. So I'll give you a couple different ones. How about Fernand Rocket? I can't. Why am I? Dude, guys, I'm on 3 hours sleep. Fernand Rockadino. Help me out, Ben.
Renat Fakhretdinov.
How do I say that? Fakhretdinov. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'm screwing up that bad. 6-0-1 in the UFC. I mean, I know people hate the Leal fight, but he has not lost in the UFC. Got a nice stoppage win over a tough opponent. To me, his stock is rising. He'll probably get at least a top 15 fighter next, I'd say. My number 2. How about the Sams? Sam Hughes and Sam Patterson. Sam's went undefeated tonight, both getting stoppage wins too, both on nice winning streaks in the UFC. So nice time to be Sam's. And my number 1, you went with the French crowd. I'm going with France altogether. The French fighters went 5-0 on the night. Obviously the main event, co-main event with Imavov and Saint-Denis. There was Gomez. There was Omar Sy, and there's somebody else I forgot. But they went 5-0. So nice job by the French
Axel
fighters.
Solo, did you get him? Yeah.
Axel Solo. Okay, that was the 5th one, I think. I feel like there was another. Maybe it was 6-0. I apologize if it was 6-0. All right, let's go to the Bears. You do not want to be on this. These people had a bad night. I will go first if you don't mind.
Go for it.
I will start with, I hate to like keep beating a dead horse, but the stock is going down for Brad Tavares. He has now lost 5 out of 7. When you go and you look at the Sherdog Fight Finder and you just see loss. That wasn't the case for him for a long time. Brad Tavares. I already said this, so I'm not going to go deep into it, but we already talked about Keta, Lucina Keta, who was coming to a lot of hype. Did he really get cut from the UFC? Like they get rid of him? Or
There's no official word yet.
Okay. I mean, I hope they don't get rid of him, but his next fight should be buried on the prelims against a nobody. I shouldn't say nobody. Yep. You know what I mean? Like not Pitbull. Yeah. You know, he should be fighting, you know,
some like dude off the Contender Series.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's what he should be getting. And number 1, we have been pumping this team. They have been on the Bulls list time after time after time. I'm not saying fraud checking them. I'm not saying they're all done. I still think they are a top 3 team in MMA. The Fight Nerds went 0-2. Borralho didn't look terrible. Ruffy looked bad. Not a good night from the Fight Nerds. With that said, we are 1 week away from Gene Silva fighting in the main event. There's a lot of pressure on him now.
Oh, yeah.
So the Fight Nerds. Well, what'd you have, Ben?
I certainly agree with all of yours. I will throw in 2 more. Got to throw in Bellagioki. A loss is one thing. Like, for the most part, fighters lose sooner or later. But like I feel like I said about a few people in recent losses, Oki lost in a way, and he has now lost in the UFC twice in a way that in a division like lightweight has pretty much everybody in the top 15 like, okay, I don't need to worry about this guy yet. Like his inability to take care of himself on the ground, that after getting out wrestled a couple times, like he grabbed a ghillie and jumped to guard. Like just, yeah, like it was a kind of loss that shows if not a hard ceiling, at least stuff he needs to do. The one I'll throw up here, and as far as I'm concerned, even above Fighting Nerds, this is the biggest one on the night. I already harped on him a little bit. I don't want to shovel more dirt onto the grave, but Harry Hardwick, it is hard to burn through all the goodwill you get from the UFC by being willing to step up on short notice, up a weight class, and fight a good fighter for $10,000 or $12,000. It's hard to waste all that goodwill. Hardwick may have managed to do it. Like, if he fights, like, say he has some stuff he needs to get healed up, like maybe his shin, and he doesn't fight for 8 months ahead of his next fight, guess what's going to be going all over social media? It's what's already going on social media. I'm already getting sent to me before the end of the card, like just 10-second clips of him saying hard shit before the fight and him crawling around and being helped into a wheelchair after the fight. Like, dude, stand up. Even if you have to stand up and your cornermen are supporting you on both sides and helping you hobble out, that feels heroic. That looks like the British version of the U.S. Marine Iwo Jima Memorial, where there's 15 dudes holding a flag up on the top of the mountain. Don't just get thrown in a wheelchair and pushed out like Hani Yaya. Like, don't do that. Yeah, so that's the biggest one for me is Harry Hardwick.
All right. Grade of the card. I'm going A-. The prelims absolutely fantastic. A+. The card, the crowd A+. Everything was great. The main event pulled it down a little bit. The main event was just okay. So because of that, I'm going to say it pulls it down a little bit. I'll go A-. What'd you have for a grade?
I'm actually exactly with you. A- is what I was going to say, and it's down to 2 things. 1, yeah, the main event dragging it down just a little bit, and 2, just realizing how much cooler it would have been if instead of the whole Hardwick fiasco, we got Caio Fernandez versus Fares Zayam third from the top like it was supposed to be. Like, that was a dynamite fight. One of the best fights on the card.
Yeah.
Would have loved to see it, but
Yeah, Pitbull.
A minus.
Losing Pitbull too. Yeah. The hardest question is always listener night. The listeners are fantastic. I apologize about my internet. I didn't realize it. I probably could have fixed the internet, made it a little bit better. I didn't realize it until much later, and I'm like, hey, screw it at this point. I would try to be much better in the future, so I apologize. But anyways, guys stuck with it, and they chatted with us. They're great. Usually it's really hard to pick a winner. To me, it's an easy one. And she's in the Hall of Fame. She got me really good with the all my opinions should be come with a dueling banjo. But that is not why she won tonight. Portia Baines. I know she always looks like I say her name wrong. She is our listener of the night, and let me find it for this comment alone. I had it, and I clicked off it. Where'd it go? I'm sorry. She secured it for sure when she commented this. Don't forget that I can kick your ass, Bob.
And on the middle platform goes her saying that her own internet is powered by sheep walking around a hamster wheel. That was pretty good too. I support that. I support requalifying her to win it one last time. I don't know if Be Cool 1 is still our old buddy. Like if Ben Cooley is just like trying to sneak back in and win some more, because Ben Cooley was definitely disqualified from winning anymore, but he respectfully disagreed a few times, made me laugh a few times. I'm gonna say Be Cool 1 just edges out S. Paffron for my listener of the night.
There you guys have it. So we will be back recapping next week UFC Noche. It is Diego Lopez versus Gene Silva, and a pretty deep card. So make sure you check that out. We'll have the preview out this week. Ben, I'm on 3 hours sleep. Grade how bad and how many stupid shit did I say?
I'd call it solid 7 out of 10, B minus. You know, like it wasn't that bad. Like the foreign fighter names got roughed up a little harder than usual tonight.
Yeah,
you know, but yeah,
the guy got me good with the appetizer line. That was like that was the Oki dropping Mason Jones moment. Like I was dropped on my ass, and that was a pretty good one. So anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. We think we do the recap shows deeper than anybody in the entire world. So we thank you so much. Spread the word. I think this is always the funnest 2 hours of the week. So we'll see you guys next week.